Hey, hey, what do you say? I got nothing to do all day, which isn't true at all. I have many things to do. I just got off of the phone. I had called, not being entirely stupid, I had called pre-holiday weekend for my blood thinners, for my melatonin, and for my diazepam. No response, no refills. I could have refilled that shit on Friday, and no messages on my phone. I haven't checked the website. So I just like got done relieving the messages, but that irritates me about the diazepam is because basically I'm gonna be like 5 pills ahead, and then I was 21 pills ahead in the last 30-day pill cycle. I'm gonna end up 5 pills ahead now, um, because they're not refilling my script on time, and this is why you must stockpile. I would say it in every video, but then you would want to reach through the computer and punch me in the face for being a nag. Right? This is why you must stockpile. Like, say, if I didn't stockpile, it's the 8th. My prescription ran out on the 6th, or was due to be refilled on the 6th. So, uh, 6, 7, 8. That's just 3 days. Try 3 days in cold turkey. Better yet, don't try it because it might kill you. Yeah. So, this is something I learned a long time ago, you know. Um, as a matter of fact, is what started me on wanting to get off of benzodiazepines before, like, I don't know, the ceiling literally caved in upon me, both literally and figuratively. I've had chunks of ceiling fall in, and then I've had like horrendous, horrendous run of luck um, since 2018. 'Cause I spoke to Sharon, and she said what happened. I think that's what she meant. What happened in January of 2018, and since January of 2018, lots of bad stuff. I wouldn't even, there's a whole videos upon videos and videos, and most of it is like this crazy shit happened. You know, got bed bugs and cockroaches in the same month from people upstairs, or maybe from my family for the bed bugs, sprayed in the face by poison, meth dealers, machetes, crack dealers, on and on and on and on. Just nothing but bad things. Um, so yeah, I'm not in a good frame of mind today, it being a Tuesday. Um, my package still appears to be lost in the mail. That it's not going to cost me $120 because I'm just going to send the guy new cards. It's probably going to cost me 70 or $80. You know, because I do this to make a profit. So if I don't, let's see, one card was for 61, one was for 51. Then you factor in the shipping and the yeah. I don't have to pay the tax. That's the poor buyer that has to pay the tax. Anyways, it's right around 120 bucks. That shit hasn't turned up. I just wrote that guy. I'm just gonna work out a deal with him where I just send him more cards. Anytime that I ship something that expensive from now on, I guess I have to buy insurance. I don't know. I never bought. I've shipped hundreds of things. I never buy insurance. I've never had a problem because it's just one more bite. I mean, you got PayPal taking huge chunks, ridiculous chunks, and eBay taking its 10% final value fee and its listing fees and whatever other fees they can pile on top of you. And then you have to ship the stuff, and you can't, a lot of people will do it, but you can't just put a card in an envelope. They don't, collectors do not like that. I don't care. But, so you have to put them in something like this. These are the smallest mailers, and as long as it's not an envelope, this right here, I can put one card in it, and it'll cost me $4.20 to ship. So, you know, Tough Titty said to Kitty, these are hard times as far as like inflation and everything. And then the post office, which is with its inflated prices, has not been performing up to snuff, especially during the COVID thing. I mean, I've noticed like that I've gotten packages that were never marked delivered. That I've gotten packages early, late, that I'm like wondering about, and then like it'll say like you look at your tracking, it'll say like arriving on time, and the next day you'll look at it and it'll say arriving late. Then you'll look at it the next day and it'll still say arriving late, and you're like, where is what's going on? I think like the post office was understaffed because of the COVID thing, and that is why when Congress met last month, they decided to allocate $25 billion in funds toward the post office, is to make sure that the post office was properly manned for election time for those precious mail-in ballots. But anyways, as far as my situation, I find that very aggravating to work hard to, stockpile to save up those pills, and then, I'm eating 15 of them when those pills should be in a stockpile. 3 days. No, it's 9 of them, not 15. My usual math. 3 times 3 equal 9. So that's 9 pills I should have. Counting to 5, I should be 14 ahead, and not whatever I got in that bottle. I think it's 5 ahead. And it's probably going to be a lot less. I'll probably end up breaking even by the time I get this shit sorted out, because they're like, we'll give you a call in 1 business day. I called them on Friday. I don't hear from them today. I called them again today. And then I gotta wait till tomorrow to hear from them. Suppose I don't hear from them till tomorrow. If I don't hear from tomorrow, I'm not leaving any messages, man. I'm getting on there and saying, look, man, I got a heart condition and I'm in withdrawal, and you guys need to fill my medication on time. I hate like leaving messages and talking to robots. There's like what 300 million people in the United States. I can't talk to one. Especially in the service industry or the mental health industry, especially. I mean, come on. But I did talk to like somebody and they said, "Oh, I'll switch you to the medication line." On my first call on Friday, and so they switched me to the medication line, which switches me to an automated service. So it may be that, yeah, I don't know how to kick up a fuss. You know, I mean, I got CRPS. I got a heart condition. They know. At least the guy that prescribes the medication is actually fairly knowledgeable about benzodiazepines, so he knows that if I do not have them, they could kill me, or put me in the hospital. So you have to wonder. Anyways, going back in time, or back in time at least as far as this video, um, yeah, I learned to stockpile real quick, and that was like my first taste of withdrawal. Is like what got me watching videos on YouTube, and like, oh yeah, this is a thing. It's like, because I didn't know what was happening. Then I realized it was withdrawal after, because I didn't even realize that I was physically dependent on Xanax, because I was just getting them off of a friend, and then I was getting them on too frequently off of a friend. At first it was here and there, and then it was like I was taking it like 3 or 4 times a week. I don't know, I don't ever remember taking it daily though. I mean, the most I would get off of them, I think, would be like a strip of 10 here and there. Sometimes I usually give them money. Sometimes they would ask for it. It was like a drug deal. And sometimes they wouldn't ask for it. But, that was around the time that my parents died. I was having trouble sleeping. No excuses. Parents' death, no excuse. You always research what you put in your body. But the point is, I did not know what was happening to me. I thought I was just like, why, freaking out. I was just like, why do I feel like this, man? I feel like I'm jumping out of my skin. I feel like the hell's wrong with me? I sort of felt like somebody just injected me full of adrenaline, and I felt sick, and then I was shaky, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening to me?" And I even like called just to call somebody. I called the house where the poison originally came from. They sent some more poison down, and then I took it and I calmed down. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm fucked. Okay, now I understand what's happening," because I was, briefly um, physically dependent on opiates when I had my spinal surgeries as a teenager, so I was not unfamiliar with withdrawal. I'm like, "Oh, that's what that was. Okay, this is bad." And then at that point, it was kind of like too late because like, all right. Then I was asking my doctor about it. He was saying no, and then I was just getting it off the street whenever I could, and trying to hold it together. Then I broke down and went to the emergency room, and finally got my first legal script. And then once I got my first legal script, then my doctor decided that he could prescribe the stuff to me after telling me no a couple of times when I asked him. Um, but I was already, I already was hooked through the belly. Uh, a fisherman's expression for swallowing the hook, line, and the sinker at that point. But I already, after I was dealing with my soon to be tried for rape doctor, he would do this shit all the time, like not fill the scripts out on time. So I got to taste withdrawal a couple of more times, once for one day, once for about 50 hours. And then after that, I'm like, I don't give a damn what I got to do. I'm stockpiling extra pills. Because that 50 hours, yeah. And I'm trying to think of like when he halved my dose without telling me or giving me any warning about it at all. And I didn't have any extra pills. I don't remember when that occurred. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I had like two extra pills when he halved my pills because I experimented with like taking half doses because I was wanting to get off of the shit and I didn't really know what I was doing, and so I was like taking half a pill. I did that for like a couple few days, and then I started to freak out, and I was like, we're going back to a whole pill. And then the doctor, like on the next pilling cycle, decided he must have like read my mind because he was like, "Oh, we're just gonna like drop your dose in half," and then I had some, I guess that would be tolerance withdrawal. You know, I'm not in good brain, so then that's when I lost my, hmm, I don't know, I can't remember shit now right now. Uh, that's when I lost that all that weight and was like laying in bed and not moving, and almost like put a jug in my bed to pee because I was afraid to get up. I'm talking about like a milk jug. I didn't have no like urinal or anything like that. I was afraid to get up and walk because I thought I would fall down because I was all fucked up. But I did manage to make it to the bathroom. I barely would eat though. I was eating tubes of weird yogurt tubes, and that's really all I remember eating for about 10 days. Then I contacted somebody who I no longer speak to, um, and this is why they kept in my good graces for a very long time, is because they were able to score me some Valium, and I was like, I finally felt better. There's even a video of me on here where I was like, "Hey, I got up and I did the dishes today. I never thought I would enjoy doing the dishes so much, man. It was such a pleasure just to be able to do anything." So, if I had a doctor that knew what he was doing and that I wasn't afraid of, I would have asked to be switched to Valium. But by that time I was scared to death of the rapist doctor, not because he was a rapist, because I didn't know he was a rapist, and I'm probably not his type anyway, since considering what he did or is accused of doing. Um, But I was already afraid of him because he already screwed me over so many times with late prescriptions and halving my dose. It's like, I don't want to rock this fucking boat, so I ain't even talking about nothing with this medication unless it's 100% necessary. And like, I didn't even, at the time, I don't think, I started to hear about the Ashton method and about switching from Xanax to Valium, and you know how I didn't know that Xanax was your Babe Ruth of benzodiazepines, that it was the worst one. Like Klonopin is of equal strength, but it gets out of your system slower and has that longer half life. Um, but Xanax has the same, is, you know, they're like both Babe Ruths, or Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Okay, I don't know, man. I'm trying something here. It's not working. But the point is, they're both equally powerful, but the Xanax just jumps out of your system and leaves you high and dry. And Klonopin hangs around for a little while and then leaves you high and dry. So it has that longer half life thing. So Xanax is the worst, and you get the worst withdrawals, and it's the worst benzo. Period. So I started to hear about this Ashton method thing where it's like, yeah, you just don't jump off of Xanax. You got to be stepped down if you want to get off of it. And then actually switching from Xanax to Valium, very smooth transition. It really had no, it was easy. I mean, it was very easy for me. There was a difference, you know, I felt different, but it wasn't anything I couldn't deal with. And they were wanting me to take like 70 milligrams of Valium a day to replace my Xanax dosage. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I was like, I don't even remember my highest totals. I used to have them written down on pieces of paper, but I threw them away, or I had like a computer file, but I wiped my computer. But I actually had a computer file where I was keeping track of my doses. But I think like I topped out at 30 milligrams a day as far as buying them. Um, they want me to take 70 in the early replacement stages, where you do the thing where you're taking this much Xanax and you do this and you change one drug for the other. But yeah, that went really smoothly for me. Um, but yeah, I haven't taken any Valium today, and I'm drank a cup of coffee, and I'm really irritated about my medication situation. Not getting either my blood thinner, which it's kind of important if you have like a history of AFib to be on a blood thinner, because say I have AFib arrhythmia, instead of getting my heart shocked in the ER and going home in 5 or 6 hours, I'm in the hospital and they're fucking with me for 3 or 4 days if I don't have my blood thinners. Because you can tell them you're taking aspirin, you can tell them I've been shocked before when I wasn't on blood thinner and sent home. It's all up to them whether they want to keep you or not. Because I told them that one time. I told them the last September, coming up on a year, is the last time I had my heart shock. Um, I told them, like, they said, "Are you taking any blood thinners?" And I was like, "No." I wonder if I could have lied. I never think of lying. Why don't I lie more? Damn it. Uh, but yeah, I said no, and they said, "Well, we're gonna have to send you upstairs." And I'm like, "I don't understand. The last time I was in here, I wasn't on any blood thinners." And I told them that uh, shocking, or what they call cardioversion, works for me, so they just cardioverted me right in the ER and they sent me home. And I don't remember what flibberty gibberty jabberty thing they said after that, but it was basically, I was very adamant, of course, about I'm not going in the hospital, I'm not going in the hospital, I'm not going in the hospital, but they weren't hearing none of it. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. I was in this very exam room. I was actually in the actual triage room. I said I was in this room when they cardioverted me at this hospital. I'm like, I do not understand this. Why I was cardioverted without blood thinners in this very room I'm in right now. The last time this happened to me, and now this time you won't do it. And I got no direct answer. The answer, of course, was I had a different doctor attending to me who was much more cautious and um, less likely to take chances. I don't know how much of a chance that is. It's not a small thing to get your heart shocked. It can go wrong and stuff. But yeah, they put me through all kind of bullshit last September, and I don't even, like I said, my life has been pretty much destroyed since January 2018. I lost at least 7 teeth, and I remember because I remember last year very well. Um, September is when I got my heart shocked. October is when I got like 5 teeth pulled in one day, and November is when I broke 2 of my toes. December I just plain old got sick. I was just sick for like 3 weeks, and it just dragged on and on. I don't know what kind of sickness it was, but that was my Christmas present. Was like, oh God, this is finally over. I was just sick and some kind of weird sick for weeks. That was my Christmas present. I don't remember if I got any Christmas presents at all, but I was just happy with that one. Because really, I always talk about how crazy I was in the 20s. It's really, I was just like healthy, and I didn't give a shit about anything else because when I was in my teens, I had spinal tumors. Well, I had a spinal tumor and like a actual blood cyst running all the way up my spine. That's why the scar is like yay big. Is because they had to cut, you know, in 1984, and I had to learn how to walk again. And when I was 16, that was when I was became dependent on opiates, specifically morphine, because they used to have different attitudes about drugs back then. So they kept me on morphine way too long, and I had a psychotic episode because I didn't. Oh, I'm a 16-year-old kid. That's a pretty scary situation. And then you got withdrawal on top of it, and nobody's explaining to you that you have withdrawal. So you think like, when you feel like your arm weighs 1,000 pounds pressing on you and your whole reality is distorted and you're sicker than hell, you don't know what your withdrawal. Nowadays, like when I had to, because of that experience, when I had to withdraw with the Xanax, I was able to ride it out and just be like, I looked at my hand because I had also like mind altering experiences like with the morphine. But I looked at my hand, and for a minute I didn't know, not a minute, but for a few seconds I didn't know whose hand it was, and that would send most people shrieking to the phone, calling 911 or whatever. That's the first time that ever happened to you, but not a first timer. So I was like, whoa, okay. You need to go lay down, cancel your appointment, because you ain't fit to go nowhere, man. You don't even know what body parts belong to you. You are bugged up. So you go in there and lay down and get in bed and don't hurt yourself. And yeah. So that's, yeah. So, anyways, I had some damn good place to go with that too, story wise, but my brain ain't doing too good. Um, yeah, I haven't decided whether to put that video up where it's like fresh off to seeing my sister for the first time in almost 3 years. And like it reminded me so much of like seeing my dad for the last time before he died, because she wouldn't look me in the eye, and she had the same like look of like discomfort and shame on her face. And yeah, it weirded me out really bad. And of course, aggravated my CRPS. I eat like one meal a day. I haven't eaten today, and I got a little bit of time to kill. Only got like 2 auctions to put together. The aid worker they're going to send me isn't my usual fat gold bricking aid worker. It's somebody I know the name, but I can't remember the aid worker. but I'm just going to send them to deposit some money and to mail a couple of things at the post office, and maybe to check on the address that I wrote down, because my head's pretty fucked up. So it is possible that I sent it to the wrong address. It's just not likely because I'm very OCD about it. I mean, I check the addresses over and over again. Like, uh, I'm very meticulous about that part of it. Um, so I don't really know what's going on there. I may not even. I'll ask them if it's an intelligent person. 'Cause they have intelligent people and they have non-intelligent people that work for them. If it's one of the more intelligent people there, I will circle this receipt and I say, please ask what address this was sent to, and I might write down the address on a piece of paper and see if it matches this address. If it's an unintelligent aid worker, I won't bother. I'll just be happy if they can find the post office. So, yeah, but I spent this morning like putting up. This is a trick I learned like years ago. It's like you can schedule auctions. They probably charge you for it now, I'm sure, because they're such assholes. eBay, they take money for everything. They just take money for everything. It's like they have 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, and 10 day auctions. Well, for some reason or another, you get the free 5 day auction for free, but if you do a 3 day auction, you have to pay an extra dollar. They gotta like take. They're terrible, terrible, terrible people run that terrible company, and it's really hard to make money on there. But I can still manage to do it because I'm pretty good at. I, I'm pretty good at the whole like picking out the money makers, so to speak. I'm not strip bar type money makers, but the money making ads, I could be like, okay, this one I can make money on. This is a good flip. I'm pretty good at that part of it. So they just cut into my profit. Um, but yeah, my brain is really not. I really can't back burner anything at all. Like not even for 10 seconds. That's like how my brain is working this morning. It's how good my brain is working. So it is possible that I screwed up somehow, but it's just not likely because the triple the obsessive triple checking of the addresses that I do. You know that I don't know what happened or what's going on with it. I just know from now on if it's I will have to like get on the website and inquire about how much postal insurance costs for lost packages, or you know. Now I don't know if that would even apply to something that they mark as delivered though. So the thing of it is I can't go to the post office and take care of this shit myself, which I would love to be able to do like in the old days. And it's like if I had the amount of money to fuck with that I have now in the old days when I had energy and I was sharp and I could take the packages to the post office myself, I could make a serious living doing this. But back then I didn't have any extra money, so I was nickel and dime and shit. I wasn't like selling shit for $120 like this thing that's lost, or like that card that I flipped for that I paid 27.50 for and sold for 120. I mean, I just didn't have that kind of money to play with. Now I have it. It takes money to make money. But yeah, you gotta be careful not to gab on here too long because they said that this replacement worker, who may or may not be intelligent that I was talking about, is going to come at 3:15. It's before 1 o'clock. I only need to get a couple auctions together, but the agency, she might show up early or something. And the thing of it is you cannot count on them. It's like, okay, it's only Tuesday. I could put off shipping the cards a couple of days until Thursday, but they might call me up on Thursday and say we don't have anybody to send out for you. And then this dude who spent uh, one card was they spent 50 plus on, the other card they spent 80 plus on. You know, they don't want to wait like 10 days before it's even marked shipped. And I don't just mark stuff shipped until it's shipped. You know, people do that. Like that one guy that I got the auction off of, he marked the stuff shipped right away, and he never shipped it until I bothered him, and then he ended up shipping it because I bothered him through eBay. And eBay, you know, threatens people, and he just wasn't answering any of my responses, and the things marked shipped, and he lives like, you know, you could have taped that package to an ant and sent it here. And that, you know, ants are really strong in here, and he could have walked it here about in 10 days from Maumee, Ohio, when I'm in Massillon, Ohio. So, but anyways, yeah, I don't know where to proceed as far as I haven't even touched the peace offering. I just want some words. I don't want a damn cake. I don't even like sweets. They should know this. I don't even like. Honestly, I don't like sweets. Give me a nice, good, solid meal. I don't need no cakes. I don't need no cookies. I do like munchy food, like potato chips. I like, and I used to like popcorn, but I don't like you know, gumming potato chips and popcorn. Mm, not fun. Still not wearing my teeth and getting used to them, which is that's on me. Just I don't know. Call it depression. Call it whatever you want. Just don't want to fuck with taking them in and taking them out. The cat still refuses to go outside. I made him a super litter box. By super, I mean big. I made him a litter box El Grande by taking two dish pans and cutting the edges off of them and duct taping them together. But in true fashion, the person that promised to deliver me some extra cat litter said, "Oh, I forgot about that." You know, they almost walked out the door without giving me my money. So you know, yeah, that's like I can't send this woman today, for instance, to buy a 20-pound box of cat litter at the dollar store because she can barely walk. Because like right away, the dispatcher, we'll call her, from the aid company says, "Do you live on upstairs?" Or I'm like, "No, I live on the first floor." He says, "Because the aid worker we're going to send you has a bad foot, can't walk." And I was like, "Well, can she go to the post office and the bank?" And she's like, "Yeah, that should be no problem." Since apparently can't do stairs, and I'm thinking, usually that's a knee thing, not a foot thing. Is she going to come in here with like a cast on her foot and crutches? I mean, who knows? I don't know. But yeah, um, yeah, I don't even like sweets. So why, you know, I don't want no. The funny part is like, I, I lived in my sister's house. I know how she is around her kids, and one of her favorite expressions was always "use your words," you know. And she didn't say one word to me. I think she was waiting for me to like, oh, say something or say something to her. I didn't talk to her at all. I was like, anything that's gonna come out of my mouth is gonna be bad. So I didn't talk to her at all. The person that was with her said, "Yeah, she baked you this cake. Um, I want to put it in the refrigerator." And I'm like, "Okay," you know. I just felt mostly bad feelings. Um, there might have been a little sadness in there because, like I said, that reminded me of the last time I saw my father when he went and looked me in the eye. I didn't say nothing directly to him either. I just stood in front of him and tried to look him in the eye, and he wouldn't look me in the eye. So I'm like, "You ain't looking at me eye. You ain't looking at me in the eye. I ain't talking to you." You know. And I, yeah. So I don't know where that's gonna go. But I don't know if I'm gonna put that other video up or not. It depends. Rewatching it. All this stuff's painful for me. I'll rewatch it and re-experience. You know, painful stuff. Family to me is always equal pain, though. You know, pain, mistreatment. You know, I had a funny phrase in my head this morning. Um, it's like I don't remember what it was, but family to me equals suffering. It does. It's not a source of comfort. It's not a source of security. It's just people I know that I'm afraid of. And at one time in my life, when my mom was alive and when I was a kid, you know, it's like it wasn't really like that. I was scared to death of my dad, of course, like any sane person would be. But like I had the security of knowing that I had a house, you know, and we're just kids, and I was the bigger, stronger kid, so um, we weren't developed emotionally, so there wasn't that fear in there of being hurt emotionally, you know. Um, so yeah, it wasn't always like that as far as my family life. I never had a good life or an enjoyable life, or never was at peace and never really comfortable in my own skin as a kid. But I don't have the same level of fear, because this is fear developed from experience from people fucking you over that are supposed to be your family and on your side. And I can understand that if I was a shitty person, but I'm actually a pretty nice person, and I'm not going to toot my own horn by repeating all the various times that I've helped these people out that have treated me like garbage. But you'll just have to trust me on that one. It's bad form to list stuff like that. Though I probably have done it in the past. Who the hell knows? Who can remember? So another thing is, like, I was trying to think. I was like trying to concentrate on what I was doing this morning because I was using. I started to say this before, but I was using a technique I learned a long time ago about scheduling ads. Is you just make an ad that says "excellent ad to be made later," and you put a whole bunch of them up because it takes time to write ads and to post the pictures and to take the pictures. I took a bunch of pictures last night. It all worked out good. But you know, that way you got 5 days. I'll work on it today. Uh, and I'll work on it tomorrow, and I'll work on it the next day. So I put like a bunch of they're not they're just not completed ads that nobody will bid on or nobody will think anything about. But they're on the schedule and they're ready to go. And I got them all. I'm selling football cards, so I got them all set off to go off at Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, Pacific time. That would be 9:30 because they're 3 hours earlier, right before the football game when everybody's all excited before they realize, oh, our team sucks. Like people are going to realize that with the Browns because we are crazy talented. And I say we just because that's like a sports thing that we do. I have nothing to do with their franchise. They don't even pay me a nickel, and I don't pay them anything. I do pay NFL Network to watch their football games, but I don't pay the Browns anything. But I'll say we are crazy talented. I mean, like we are literally the most talented offense in the league if you talk about all around talent. But we have a new coach. We had a COVID off season, no preseason games. The coach is implementing a new offense. The quarterback is coming off of a year that was an utter disaster, and we got two new offensive linemen, and so everybody's all hopeful because we got like these two new stud offensive linemen, and we got a new coach that seems to know what he's doing and has had success with the Minnesota Vikings, who had a 10-6 record last year. May or may not made the playoffs. It's his first head coaching job, and he ran their offense, and so we have this powerhouse offense. Everybody agrees we have the best backfield as far as running backs in the league. We have a healthy Odell Beckham Jr. This is all sports talk that none of the people that listen to me are interested in, most likely. But the point is, I'm not buying into the hype because I ain't stupid. Okay, I bought into the hype the year before because we had we had just missed the playoffs by a whisker in 2018 with a rookie quarterback who set the rookie touchdown record. So You know, I bought into the hype last year. We had a new head coach, and it was the same guy, but for some reason he didn't implement the same offensive system. You know, but this is a so what it is like everything's going to be new. We're going to be dealing with timing type plays that take a lot of practice and misdirection plays and all this stuff. We got new people and we got a new coach and new system. And these other teams that we're battling, they know what they're doing. They know what they got. They've had the same coach. They've had the same system. They got something called continuity, which is a fancy sports word. So I ain't buying into that shit. And so there's a bunch of hype. You know, a lot of the people that I've sold cards to so far have been from Ohio and are all excited about the Browns. And, you know, I'm not going to blanket them, but this is going to be a learning year. And we had a light schedule last year. We got a brutal schedule this year. Brutal, brutal schedule this year. So, yeah, I don't expect much. And you know, there's certain players that I'm gonna hold on to. I'm getting my shipment of $915 worth of uh, PSA graded mint uh, Baker cards today. That's the quarterback, Baker Mayfield. There's no telling how he'll do. You know, he had a bad training camp. Uh, they want to say it was a mixed bag, but he had a bad training camp. He didn't look good. And he's trying to change his footwork, which is another new, wild card to throw in there because he had like poor fundamentals. You know, even when I like would play football like just in the yard with people, I'm like, why would you, if you're right-handed, why would you stand with your left foot back? You would stand with your money foot that you're throwing off of back. So he was like doing it backwards, which adds more time to him getting set up and screwing with his mechanics. And basically, to add more time is a problem because that's when them big guys on the other side with the different color uniforms want to kill your ass. So that was like, yeah, yeah. If you set up this way, you can get set quicker and get rid of the ball quicker, and maybe your head will stay connected to your shoulders. So he's working on that, and so he's a work in progress. So this year ain't gonna be much. I don't expect much, and that is why I'm trying to sell all the cards or sell like a massive amount of cards. Not all my cards. I can never do that. I don't have. It would take me weeks to write ads for all my cards. But I'm trying to like I'm gonna shoot for 30, 40 ads, you know, and set them up to go off before the season starts, and everybody's hopes get crushed by that first defeat. We're like, oh, we're not as good as we thought we are, because as a fan, you're always hopeful. The glass is always half full. Hope springs eternal, especially if you're a sports fan. That oh, this will be the year, you know. And we actually, as an organization, have you know, we got a system that fits the quarterback. We bought high quality free agents at tight end and offensive line. We drafted the needed an offensive tackle to protect Mayfield. We got literally the best guy in the draft with the 10th overall pick, and he's a rookie, but a Hall of Fame guy that played for the Browns named Joe Thomas. You know, would basically marry him. He's like, this guy is the most fundamentally sound guy I have ever seen for his age. You know, this is a Hall of Famer that is famous for um, his meticulous note taking and technique and accuracy. This isn't just your average Hall of Fame lineman. Uh, so, anyways, we're gonna stop the sports talk, and yeah, I don't know. I don't want to waste a lot of time on here, and I just want to tell you the pill situation and how unsatisfying that was to like wait all weekend, and you know there's no update. They update me on over the phone on in the text, you know, like your medication has been refilled. So I've got got no response from Friday. It's now Tuesday, and I re-upped my messages, and then like tomorrow, if I don't hear from any of these people, I'm gonna have to like get medieval and talk to people and be insistent and like, look, you know, it's like I was raised around my dad, so I know how to do scary. So I'm always like towing that line about like going too far. Like when I was confronting the lady with the heart monitor, uh, the fat gold bricking aid worker. It's like yeah, she started to get a little scared, a little fidgety. And it's like I got to back off. So I got to watch myself because I was taught at the feet of a master when it comes to intimidation, being scary, and general madness. I mean, I've had people backing out of here where they wouldn't take their eyes off of me, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all because I can barely walk, and you won't even take your eyes off of me because you're afraid I'm going to kill you. Yeah, you, these aren't. Some of these people are not exactly like skittish, wimpy people, and they're dudes, and I don't. I definitely don't like intimidating women or anything like that, or like scaring them. I don't ever intimidate. I don't know what. I don't. I just don't like scaring women. I just think that's uncool. And it's like I told, repeat it for the millionth time. It's a good line. It's like when I told that woman that I had to chase out of my house. I was like, if you were a man, there'd already be blood on this floor. You know, I'm just trying to get rid of you. Just get out, get away from me. And yeah, good luck dealing with drunks. Ah, yeah. So I did walk that one. I didn't walk yesterday because all I did yesterday was write ads and lay in bed, and it was very time consuming and take pictures. Took buku pictures laying in bed, and I got these little stands. You take the I don't have a card for an example, but you take these little cute little stands, and you take. So I'll sell you some gum. You want to buy some gum? You like set the card up on a stand like so, so it takes a nice picture. Setting these up on my computer, laying in bed with a stack of cards for hours. So I did not walk yesterday. I walked the day before, around the room, and until I felt all sweaty, and I was like, well, that's enough for the first time. I didn't time it. I usually like play music in the background and try not to look at the clock. Because whenever you're being tortured, it's never good to keep track of time. Um, it's like having walking on a treadmill and having a clock in front of you, or like I used to. I was like, "You're telling me I've only been on this treadmill for 2 minutes?" You know, you want to try to forget what you're doing if you're in pain. Oh, I don't know, by maybe rambling on the internet or something like that. So I just listen to music, and I'm like, I'll do about 8 songs today. Keep Yeah, instead of minutes, I'll do songs. I'll do about 8 songs. I was like, that was pretty good, man. I walked a long time today. I did 12 songs. Um, yeah, and I walk until I get wobbly, like I said, and then I switch to a walker and I keep walking for my heart's sake, and you know, for my um, pulmonary cardio benefits, so I have greater wind. But really, I think I get like my heart gets worked up and I get short of wind just because it's so painful for me to walk. Which I talked to this dude on the internet, and like I said, I don't usually do this, but this guy's got a baker's knee, and we're just talking about knee, and he's talking about medications he wants to be on. I don't know why we can't do this in a public forum, but whatever. He's like, I'd like to. He gave me his email address, and then I didn't answer him for a couple of days, and then took he like removed the post because he took it as a rejection or whatever, and I'm like, you know okay, I'll give it a whirl, you know I'll try it. I don't see the sense in it, you know. I mean, do you really want me to get more personal than I do on here? It's like, really? I told you that my dick shrunk. I mean, do you really need to hear more information than that from me? Okay. Yeah, that was, yeah. Okay. So this guy in the email, though, that I was talking to about, been talking to about the baker's knee. You know, he's considering being on benzo, so I feel like it's my duty to try to like say like, look, he he lives in the UK, and he's like he wants to try opioids and benzos because he's taking Lyrica for his baker's knee, and um, he claims that it's an addictive substance to him, and um, he wanted to talk to me about medications, like I'm a doctor or something like that. It's like, no, I'm like anti-medication, and I don't really have a lot of experience. I took Lyrica briefly, and I didn't think it did anything at whatever dose they gave it to me. I took other medications, and if it's like if it doesn't, even Neurontin, I didn't. I took it at first, and I'm like, well, this isn't worth it. The trade-off isn't there. Then once my knee got to hurting to extreme levels, then you end up with this situation. There's maybe, I don't know, 10 in there out of 400 pills, which I gave some of those to a guy who got blown up by an IED in Iraq. And I also gave him like a full one of my prescriptions because I just wasn't taking it at the time. So even Neurontin, it's like I'm anti-medication. I'm not the guy to talk to about medications. I don't like them. I don't have a great deal of experience with medications. And yeah, I don't know how old the guy is. He hasn't told me that yet. But let's see, if I could do one thing, just one thing I could change, it would not be talking to my father before he died after not talking to him for 13 years. It would be to not take benzodiazepines. If I had something in the last 5 to 7 years that I could change, which would be quickly followed by a close second of getting the hell out of here, you know, and not being stupid, but my own stupidity, you know, you can't help being stupid sometimes when you're stupid. But my landlord's a good con man, but, you know, not taking a fucking hint that my landlord was a bad guy and not getting out of here before this place destroyed my health, you know, because there were, before the meth business blossomed in here, there was signs upon signs that this guy did not give a fuck, but he's just a superb con man, just unbelievably good. But yeah, like we had crack dealers in here, and I was telling him about the crack sales and stuff like that. And he'd always come up with the same lines. You know, I should have had a fucking clue. Or like I'd complain about noises and people yelling at people, and he would actually give me a stock cliched phrase that he had that I know that he uses on a regular basis at all his properties. He's like, well, you know, when you live in a multi-unit building, you're always going to have to put up with a certain amount of noise. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds like people are throwing TVs around upstairs, so it really isn't a certain amount of noise. And then when I would complain about the drug activity, he would be like, that kind of puts me at risk, liability wise, because I can't go around accusing people without proof. In other words, you're calling me a stupid and a liar because I'm saying, like, yeah, I can see the money and the drugs changing hands outside. But, like, I just rolled with it. You know, I was like, okay, well, you know, it seems like it's Gerald. He's a sweetheart. He's a nice guy. You know, he's telling me this stuff. It must be true. It's like, I think it's a blind spot that honest people have, even people that aren't complete fools like me, because I'm only like, yeah, I'm somewhere on the fool meter, somewhere toward the middle. But like, if you're not a liar, you kind of get surprised by lies sometimes because you kind of like project your own deal on to other people. And like, it's like, why would you do that? It's like, I do that a lot, I guess. Apparently, it's like people make me promises and they don't keep them, and I'm like shocked. And they're like, I made like the boat thing. I made the guy make a solemn promise that he was going to get my brother out of the house while my mom was dying, and he was playing nursemaid. And I was like, listen, I don't have this money to spend to get this boat on the water. You know, it was like almost we didn't cut hands and do a blood brother thing, but I mean, it was a serious thing. I mean, it was like you got to promise me that you're going to do this. And he was like, yeah, okay. And he never did it, and he took him out on the water once. One time. So I paid like $350 for a one time deal. And I'm just bringing up old news and old hurts. But yeah, as if you know my past history and my family history, my mother saved him from being in a really bad situation. And then when my mother was dying, he wasn't there for her or the family. So, you know, I actually managed somehow to forgive him for that. Because, but then other things, other things happened after that. Because his mom was going to jail. He had no place to go. The only other place he had to go didn't have any food and had a totally irresponsible, uh, shitty uncle. Where my dad was responsible and kept the job and kept food in the house. And he did not want to take in my foster brother. But my mom insisted upon it because she knew that his ass wasn't going to be getting any food if he ended up going into his other place, the only other option he had. That he was going to be going hungry, maybe going to be going without heat in the wintertime, and just being around an environment with no morals, basically. I mean, almost to the point like there's penthouses laying around the living room floor type morality, you know, that kind of thing. Um, so, yeah, my mom did that for him, and then he wasn't there for my mom or my brother because it was too much bother or too painful for him or whatever. He just took the easy way out. And so, yeah. But I forgave him for that because he admitted to it. You know, that's why I got the problem with my sister, and I know this is old ground, is because I need an admission of what you do. I don't need a fucking cake that's taking up this much room in my refrigerator. I need words. I need an admission. Tell me what you did. Don't minimize it. You know, you tell me what you did, then I can get over my anger and get over my hatred. And I even wrote that into a letter to her that my foster brother did me way more dirt and had way less credit for with me than you do, and all he had to admit to was that he did a fucked up thing and admit what he did. Because she would say, "I'm sorry, but," and like I've said before, whenever you apologize to somebody, you're either sorry or you're not. There's no buts in there. You just say you're sorry. You express your feelings. You say you're sorry. Because I'm sorry, generally that kind of apology goes, I'm sorry, but an excuse or an accusation comes after. It's like, no, just leave it. If it's a good apology, a worthwhile apology, it stops at the sorry part. There's no buts, you know, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, I was wrong. There's no, I'm sorry, but I was busy that day. I'm sorry, but I was having a bad week. I'm sorry, but I was mad at somebody else. You know, you're making excuses for yourself. You're ameliorating the situation. You're minimizing the impact of what you did and the damage done. And she did me a great deal of damage at the time when I needed support most. and that's why I couldn't even. I did manage to look at her and try to meet her eye, but I didn't talk to her at all. I talked. Uh, I guess I might as well not put up the other video if I want to talk about this now. I talked to the cat that she gave me. I did a thing called loud talking, and I talked about the cat dying. I was like, oh, that cat's gonna be dead soon anyway. It's not gonna survive another winter. I don't think he doesn't want to go outside anymore. He wasn't gonna do anything. He's kind of like giving up, and I kind of was saying that in a way that giving up stuff about myself, but to somebody else about the cat while my sister was in the hallway and could hear it, but I could not. I It would have been a horrible situation if I talked to her because it would have just went horribly badly, and the other person that was there didn't need to be a part of that. And they might have set up the whole thing trying to make peace with us, not knowing the situation or understanding the situation. I don't know. I'm not going to go into specifics about it. I decided, I guess, it's a good video. There's nothing wrong with it, but just leave that other video alone. But really, after 2.5 years, I'm a completely different person now, and I can't put up with toxic people. I just can't. I'm too damaged myself now. It's like before I could put up with it and just shrug it off. I'm too damaged. I'm too raw and sensitive, and I do not trust that person anymore. Um, and um, there's just nothing there. I mean, what's there? It's been 2.5 years. You haven't called me. You haven't wrote me. You haven't expressed anything but lame ass apologies that are worthless. And yeah, and say shit like, "What do you want me to do?" And that vicious tone would creep into the voice too. It's just like vicious, resentful tone. Like I couldn't understand that either. Um, and they want to use the insanity defense. These two people I'm talking about. It's like, okay, you're allowed to use the insanity defense to justify your behavior because you weren't right in the head at the time. But I'm crying for the first time in 25 years. And the first time you've heard me cry in 29 years, you see, because I cried when I got the diagnosis for CRPS and realized my whole life was going to be fucked. And then I cried over something my father did, but that was to myself. I just came home and cried. That was to myself. That was 25 years before December 27th, 2017. So, in other words, this person's using, like, well, I wasn't in my right mind at the time, as an excuse for not being emotionally supportive to somebody that they haven't heard cry for 29 years. It's like it doesn't wash. I can't deal with illogic and illogical people. There's no defeating it. You can't defeat it. You can only point it out, and then they get defensive, or then they get angry, or then they get evasive, or then they get obfuscative, which basically means just throwing a bunch of shit out there just to hide the truth. Um, yeah, none of it's any good. None of it's any good. It's like if you can't be on the same page reality wise, you really got nothing to talk about. And if the person is being illogical and not making any sense in what they're saying, it's like I just don't understand. Like, people fuck up. It's like I'm not known as an unforgiving type person. I'm known as a guy actually that is very forgiving, but we'll reach a point where we're done. You know. So why not just admit, like, yeah, that was kind of fucked up. That was like the first time I heard you cry in like almost 30 years, and then like I wasn't supportive, and I wasn't nice to you, and I was kind of like accusing you of playing the martyr and saying mean things to you, and that was kind of screwed up what I did. I'm sorry about that. I should You know, I didn't mean to act like that. I got no excuses. You know, just something like that. I'm really like, okay, I can move on. If I can move on from my foster brother abandoning the woman that took him in and saved his ass from being malnourished and allowed him to grow up to be a tall, strapping 6 footer like myself and took care of him while his mom was in jail. And if I can forgive him abandoning my mother and breaking promises to me about taking care of my brother and not seeing my mother, I think my brother said that he saw her once or twice, I don't remember which, over a long span of time, like years. Um, and like he could have just done shit like pulled up outside the house and got my brother out. He didn't even have to go in and see my mother. He just could have like pulled up and took my brother out of the house and took him somewhere. But he just removed himself from the situation because it was the easy way to go, and he's kind of sociopathic, and it was just the easier way to go, and it spared him pain and bother. Uh, that you know, yeah. So if I can overcome that thing with my mother, I certainly could have overcome this thing with my sister. But I gotta have honesty. I insist upon it. You know, I don't want no half-assed apologies. I don't want no fucking cake. You know, I'm not. I'm gonna maybe put the cake in the freezer, maybe throw it out the window and let the raccoons eat it. I ain't eating the damn cake. I ain't touching that cake. Uh, except for maybe to move it in the freezer, and then maybe at some point I'll have somebody come here that I can palm it off to, which is highly unlikely. It'll be like frost burnt by then, or freezer burnt. So I should probably just feed it to the raccoons. Um, but anyways, I think I'm done. I didn't mean to go into that. Anyways, I just want to tell you about the medication thing. Let's see how much time I got before. Crap. I got to get off of here and get those packages together and right, yeah. My head not being in a good place because of, I don't know. Let's see. Let's count the things. Medication fuck up. Seeing my sister being threatened with a possible ban from eBay when I have thousands of dollars worth of cards to sell off of there. Lost $120 package in the mail in the space of about 5 days. So yeah, my head's kind of fucked up, and so might need a little extra time to get these get what my packages together and uh, my instructions for Justine and her bad foot when she gets here. And she might get here early or she might get here late. But the time they gave me was 3:15. But that is a meaningless thing when they give you a time. So she can show up here early. And I need to get off of here. And as always, thank you for putting up with me. And I will see you later. Goodbye.